Uh, Welcome to our new episode of Peace Talks. This is the Peace Dealer. I'm excited as hell to bring these heavenly episodes back. I got a nice production lineup, and yeah, this is episode 19. And this episode we have Mr. Gemini Brown. What's poppin', B? How you doing?
What's going on? What's going on? I'm here, man. Chilling, can't complain.
That's what it do. That's what it do. How have you been enjoying your Scorpio season so far? Hello? Ooh.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, no, I didn't hear that last part you said. You kind of froze.
Oh, I said, yeah, it's going well. And since Mercury went into Scorpio, I turned up. Like Mercury, I feel Mercury transits a lot more, I think, than most people. Like my ascendant, my moon, and my sun are all ruled by Mercury. So I've always noticed that whenever he transits, especially like early in the transit, I feel that new wave of energy. So it's going good. Can't complain. Digging deep, you know?
That's what it do. I know definitely for all the Geminis watching, there's this that sixth house transit we have is no joke. Like the issues I had with my lifestyle before, I'm having a change for real now. But it's actually like really like I started doing a martial arts class. I quit doing certain, I replaced certain bad habits with good habits because I like to see the sixth house.
Yeah, I got Saturn in the sixth natally, so
holy shit.
Day to day discipline is I can't fall out of line. And it's retrograde, so I gotta hold myself to a standard.
That's what it do, man. Yeah, when it transited Scorpio, I just was totally humbled. Like I didn't realize my lifestyle was so ass. But I mean, now I have the opportunity to, fix it up. So I like how you said Mercury being in Scorpio made you turn up, though. Like being that you're ruled by Mercury and everything. Like, do you feel like you have how can you describe this deep, insightful, and profound like understanding you have of things currently?
Bro, like in general, like just in general with my Mercury. So I have Mercury in Gemini as well, right? So
sweet.
Yeah, I think really, really fast, and I can't imagine thinking any other way. So, like even in school, you put problems in front of me, I was always the first one done. And the older I got, the more I realized that, I go from this extreme to the next extreme. And then once I really got into astrology, I completely understood why. So I start using my Virgo energy and I pay attention to the details. So I'm known to keep a journal day to day, tracking the moon, tracking, Mercury, and just to me. And for instance, in Libra, I knew that I had to bring a balance to every single part of my life. I couldn't overindulge in one particular thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now that Mercury goes into Scorpio, I'm sort of feeling like, I don't know, like a magician, if you understand what I mean.
Nice. Interesting. I kind of do. Word. It's funny because Mercury in the tarot is the magician card. So to be ruled by that, is pretty damn awesome. Like I think at some level people just assume Mercury is just about intellect and thought. But I mean, this is the closest planet to the sun. So it's the closest planet with it's the closest emissary that gains the illumination and enlightenment first of consciousness before it spreads it upon us. So yeah, it's a phenomenal planet.
And then especially, being a Gemini sun, And being a part of that Sagittarius axis, I feel like, you know, for myself, I know that I am a channel, and developing my ability to channel energy has had a profound effect on my life. So I always tell people, you know, when advising them, pay attention to your opposite sign and look to balance those energies and yourself whole through that opposite sign.
Okay, so for example, as a Gemini, how would you do that? And how do you balance the Sagittarius with the Gemini energy?
I preach. I preach. Yeah, man. Like, I can't help it, honestly. I've always been a student, right? So I'm not one of those students who just learn for the sake of keeping it to myself. I've always wanted to give my knowledge away. So how I balance the Sagittarius energy is by taking what I'm learning, that higher philosophy, and then incorporating the Gemini side and communicating it out. Dig?
Okay. How would that translate as a Sagittarius now? And how would they bridge the Gemini?
They gotta communicate more. They gotta work on that versatility, you know? Like, the thing with Sagittarius is some Sagittarius tend to be very moral, right? And some of them even feel guilt, like if they were growing up in the church, feel guilty about studying astrology, right? But when you embrace your Gemini energy more, you start to understand that you got to be open-minded and versatile in your thinking. So I would say for the Sagittarius person, just by getting out there and experiencing more outside of your beliefs, having an open mind, you can become balanced.
That was very revealing about how you said it too, because I like to see the mutable signs as the axis of experience. And you're right, Sagittarius, we help Sagittarius experience at a lower minded level, in that Sag is the meaning and we're the truth, you know, the focused meaning of that. So now that we're talking about mutables, how about Virgo and Pisces? How can Virgo bridge Pisces and Pisces bridge Virgo?
Virgos have to embrace the Pisces energy, man. Seriously. Like, what I've noticed is that, especially in the realm of just sexuality, young Virgos feel, I guess, guilty about their sexuality or putting so much of themselves out there, that as they get older, they become more and more free and understanding of that shadow nature, which is Pisces. So ultimately, I like that. I love the Virgo Pisces axis. I feel like that person who embodies Virgo so much, right, in at face value, could be the ultimate mystic, and you'll never know. So
true.
my advice,
So true.
so true, right? Yeah,
So
I say it all the time. So
yeah.
all in all, I would just say to Virgos, man, to embrace the shadow, embrace your shadow side, loosen up, really.
And what about for Pisces? Kind of like the opposite, huh?
Yes, you know, but stay grounded. Stay grounded. Fight the need to escape. Especially, you know, with me being a 12th houser, you know, like having a lot of planets there, I've realized that the energy has to come out the 12th house. If you never get it out the 12th house, you're gonna continually want to escape and not be a part of reality. So Virgo needs to loosen up, and Pisces needs to get grounded. That's why I think, like, that saying opposites attract, I think for them, it really holds true more than most.
Okay. Yeah, that's true. I feel like the opposite sign, you know, opposite signs work way better for mutable signs than, say, fixed signs. Like, I know too many Taurus and Scorpios who they don't get along more than they get along. But Sag and Gemini like this, Virgo and Pisces like this. Like even if it's not in a romantic setting, like it complements really well, regardless of quality. But the reason why I wanted to talk about mutable signs is, like I said, this is the axis of perception. So you said something very beautiful when we started about Gemini being able to channel, and so is Sagittarius. And in a World War Zero episode I made, it really correlated to how Gemini is the entrance. Gemini and Sagittarius is the gates to the spiritual and real world. As a Gemini, can you explain your perception and understanding of the lower mind and the higher mind? You know, when people say the 9th house is about higher minded thought and the 3rd house is lower minded thought, what does that actually mean?
Well, I would say the thing with Gemini, right? That the energy is so fast, right? We want to learn so much. We're so curious that we never actually take the time to master things, you know? And as far as lower minded being, like that being the lower mind, I just consider it to be at face value, you know, like not anything deeper than that, right? A little bit of this, a little bit of that. But when you tap into the higher mind, you get full understanding of whatever it is that you're studying. So, like an example, I always say that like Sagittarius energy would be the philosophy, and the Gemini would be the philosopher. So the philosopher communicates the message, and Sagittarius is actually what the message is. It gives meaning to it. Make sense?
Yes, that makes perfect sense. It's almost like saying Sagittarius is the thesis statement in an article and Gemini are the supporting sentences after.
Nice. Yep. Great example. So I feel like tapping into the higher mind really grounds you more. It makes you more of a, how would I say, more Scorpio like, because myself, I've always admired Scorpios because they're so intense and obsessed with whatever it is that they're passionate about. And you know, being a Gemini, I have a lot of passions, so I always push myself to master one before I go on to the next. Do you have that problem?
To as in being like a jack of all trades and not mastering something before I go to the other? Well, yeah. I can name you like 50 books that I've read, and then halfway I skip to the next book. I have that problem like a lot. Like I get to actually finishing. I mean, I've finished books, but these days it's rare. Like my attention span is just horrible. Like I guess it's hubris a little bit because the Gemini mind is so quick. Once I've read like the point of what you're trying to say, I assume I already know the point you're trying to make. Like I know how you're going to conclude. So it's like, all right, I need new information. But it's just like you said, like a little bit here, a little bit there, instead of really mastering one thing. You know, I do have that problem.
Well, the fact that I'm a Virgo moon and a Virgo ascendant, I like to go back and reread and find all the details and draw it out very organized, like dissect it. So the older I've gotten, the more I've embraced that quality. And it's something that I try to tell people, that Saturn damn near may be the most important planet in astrology. Or Absolutely. Not, right?
Saturn and Jupiter.
Right. But definitely the most important planet when it comes to manifesting things. If you want to manifest something, you have to pay attention to Saturn. It's boring and it's tedious, but it's what gets the results.
I'm so glad you said that too. I'm so glad you said that. I mean, Venus is like a smaller octave of manifestation, but you need that Saturnian element because Saturn is the timing. Yeah, you can manifest what you want, but if it happens at the wrong time, then it's damn near useless. And that's interesting. Like Virgo really does make all the difference because we both have Earth risings and Earth moons. I have the Taurus and Cap, but I have no Virgo. I have no Virgo. I have no Libra. I have no Scorpio. So that detail-oriented, nitty-gritty, actually interpersonal thing, like it's so key to have. That's why I can respect any Virgo. If I date a chick, I would want her to have Virgo. It's that important, you know, that kind of stuff. But let's get into you, man. This is about you. What got you into astrology, or rather, you know, I have your channel in the link. What's your channel all about? Who are you, man?
Well, I'm Gemini Brown. I'm from Z, and I'm really that Gemini who's a jack of all trades. You know, I got into astrology solely because it was brought to me. I have Venus in the 12th, right? And Venus represents in Leo. Yeah, I have Venus in the 12th in Leo. So, you know, it represents relationships as a whole, right? And more specifically, it represents relationships with women. So a theme in my life, and then the 12th house being the house of spirituality, I've had some really good women, spiritual women in my life. And they've always, I guess, you know, told me who I was in a sense. But the thing about growing is that certain things don't turn on until a particular time. So I've kind of always been interested in astrology, but I had an actual spiritual awakening that just triggered everything. And so I think that happened maybe like 2010. It started 2010, and like a year after that, I just really, like, something in my head went off where everything just made much more sense. It's like I was looking at charts, right? It was like I was looking at charts for a period of time with one understanding, and then out of nowhere, something went off where I understood it at a deeper level. So I've been into astrology, I say, for about like 3-4 years now, and I just started making videos because, huh?
So that's long. Yeah, that's longer than me. That's awesome.
Yeah, I just started making the videos honestly because I have this thing. I don't like talking about something until I really know what I'm talking about. I don't like to have like pretentious information. So I probably could have been making videos, but I just started because I felt like, okay, I know what I'm talking about now.
And I'm kind of jealous of you, man, because you're set for another deep awakening too. You have your Jupiter in the first house transit right now, which is way better because Venus and Mars and the North Node are there. Like that's awesome, man. That's really awesome.
Let me tell you.
I'm gonna be paying attention to your channel. Trust me, that's for sure.
I appreciate it, bro. Yeah, you know, I'm gonna keep it going. Outside of that, in my personal life with that transit, like I'm actually getting into teaching. Like right now, you know, I'm putting in time, like working on my hours as a teacher's assistant to become a teacher eventually. So I definitely see with Jupiter in the first that I'm out here displaying my knowledge on many different levels.
That's awesome, man. That's really awesome. So outside of astrology, what else what in like a few words is your impression of spirituality? What does it mean to you, and how does it pervade what you do?
This is one of my favorite quotes about spirituality ever. I don't even remember where I read it at, but I just read it and it stuck in my head. It says, religion is for those who are afraid of going to hell. Spirituality It's for those who have already been there. So
Amen.
that would sum it up for me.
That's what it do. That's what it do. Yeah, it's so profound and yet so simple.
Like it's just like that. It's just like that, man. That's how I feel. So I've always been a spiritual guy. You know what I mean? Like even I always say down to the relationship with my parents are it's pretty spiritual, because I feel like they didn't raise me like the average person. I've always been like a little adult ever since I was a kid. And I've always just had the room to make my own mistakes or do things on my own accord.
That's dope. That's dope. Do you have any siblings?
Yes, I have 4 sisters, no brothers.
I have 2 sisters, no brothers. That's interesting. Are any older than you or what? Yeah.
I have one that's younger than me, and then I have 2 that are older.
Oh, so you have 3 sisters.
Three that are older. Yeah, 3 that are older. Yeah, man. I saw and one of your sisters does film, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I watched one of her episodes. It was cool. I do film as well.
That's what it do. We got a quintessence man here.
Yeah, definitely. And what about you, bro? Like outside of astrology, I know you rap. How much of what's the passion? What's more of the passion, the astrology or the music?
That's a really good question.
It's the Gemini struggle.
It's funny because I've gotten to a point. Jupiter is in my 5th house now, so I've gotten to a point where it all kind of meshes together. Like I'll go on a set and I'll start giving people like impromptu astrology readings, and I'll integrate where the moon is and then go into my next song. You know what I mean? Like I thought it was music or astrology I like more, and it was really just more expression, the expression of the heart. That's what Jupiter and Virgo is teaching me right now. So it's hard for me to really separate them. To me, they're all one. It's all one. It's all spirituality for me. It's all, and I don't want to even label it spirituality, but I'm also into film too. So that's also stuff that I would incorporate. It's all just one big self-expression of my conscious being. But yeah, man, I wanted to touch on, I almost forgot. I wanted to touch on how, yeah, I completely forgot what I was going to say, but I'll remember it pretty quickly. Is there a certain like preference you have towards reading astrology or understanding the cosmos? Like, what's your go-to planet? Is it Mercury or how do you like personally like interpret things?
From like in general, like in a general reading, or like in terms of myself?
In terms of yourself, like when you look at the planets and you're trying to understand what's going on today.
Okay, so it's definitely, for me, it's definitely Mercury, and it's definitely Venus. It's more than one, because I tell you, it's certain transits where things are right in front of your face, and they don't need to be in the first house to do that. You know what I mean? So I've noticed that I'm greatly affected by, because natally I have Jupiter, Venus, and Mars conjunct. Okay, so
wow.
Yeah, it's a lot of it's crazy.
Holy shit! Yeah.
Word. So honestly, sometimes when Mars is in a particular position, like for instance, if Mars is transiting the 12th house by itself, I get into this funk, honestly, and I hate it. I get into this funk, and it's like I don't have the correct drive. Then I'll go look at what Venus is doing, and then that'll give me more insight to why that is. Okay, so I pay attention to Mercury and I pay attention to Venus. And I pay attention to Mars definitely too.
Yeah, personal planets. That makes a lot of sense.
Mm-hmm.
Now I remember what I was going to bring up. I wanted to. You also rap. We've done a couple tracks together. Are there any acapellas you would like to spit? Any kind of verses that you would like to share with us?
Sure. Yeah, I'll do one, and it's got some astrology references too, so it'll fit topic. Listen up. Let me have your attention. I live on a plane. It's called the fifth dimension. The home of poets and souls in transition. Flow potent. You know it. Gotta listen. Got a vision. One day they'll be my artists. The ones in control, putting out pure garbage. Can't fuck with the gifted. Always lifted. Never shy. Mercury and Sun rest in Gemini. Excelling at it all because I know I can. Watch me ascend, my friend, like the Virgo I am. I hit the blunt, hear the beat, and get gone. It's a crime, y'all rhymes are nowhere near my zone. This is my throne, call me sire. I be the supplier of a movement getting strong. Till I retire, I be writing freedom songs. Till I expire, I'm forever inspired. I'm gone.
Hey, that's what it do. That's what it do. Is your decade the second or third decade?
Third.
Yes, I could tell. You are such a revolutionary, man. Yeah, hell yeah. When your Saturn return hits, oh my gosh, you're gonna be a problem.
You know what's crazy, bro? So, when I first got into astrology and I'm going through things, and it's like, yeah, you're pretty much gonna get success later in life. I'm like, hell no. I work way too hard and I'm way too talented to achieve success later in life. But the more you grow and the more you gain an understanding, you understand that, yeah, it's not my time. You know what I mean?
Yes, that brings back to what you said about Saturn, especially as a 10th house sun. It makes a lot of sense. Like now that I'm growing older myself, like I've been wondering, why not now? Why can't I have this yesterday? But now I'm beginning to appreciate time so much more, and seeing you have your whole life ahead of you. You know, you could just let things fall into place.
Yeah, definitely, man. Like I feel like a lot, and you know, you're a 12th houser too. So I feel like we have a lot of work to do. We're mature in a sense, but we still got like a lot of growing up to do, man. And it's crazy, I swear.
It is. It feels like you're an old soul, but at the same time, it feels like you're a little kid. It's so weird.
Like, check it out. Like when it comes to technology, I suck ass. Like I don't care for it. Like I'd rather have someone like do technical stuff for me, man. For instance, this is really crazy, right? So what is this, 2015? I don't think I found out that people were doing like astrology videos on YouTube until like 2013, bro. I did not know.
Actually. I was pretty late myself. Yeah.
So when I went on and I saw all these people spreading this message, I said, wow, I'm really old, man. Seriously.
There's technology for this?
My first intention is to always go to a library. I don't know. Like look my information up through libraries and books and stuff.
I think it's that Virgo. You're very old fashioned and it comes off pretty like dapper, you know what I'm saying? Pretty dope.
Thanks, man.
Let's play a little game. It'll piss off all the Zodiac signs. You and I will take turns exposing one thing about each sign that they try and hide from others, since we're both 12 houses. So we kind of know it.
All right. This should be fun.
Yeah. We don't even have to start with Aries. You can start with whatever sign, and then I'll just follow you.
I am definitely going to come at the Virgos. I think you guys are some sexual ass people and you try to hide that. And I think that, you know that you're wild on the inside, but you don't want this to be shown outside to everybody else. So I think Virgo suppresses their sexuality or just overall shadow nature.
Too true. Their 8th house is Aries and their 12th house is Leo. it's even more than just being a freak. Like they have passion that they don't only hide, they want to make sure you're worthy of it. It's kind of like their little trump card. So I totally agree. I also think Virgo hides because they're the sixth house, which is so critical. I think maybe at a young age, their imagination got beat down by overcritical parents or people. So these are the people, like you said, that could be totally mystic, but they'll act like they don't. They could see apparitions and ghosts, but they would do magic and act like it's not real. I think they hide that too.
Yep, definitely.
Looking at you, Virgo. All right. So let's do Sagittarius. I think Sagittarius hides a deep isolation. They feel so misunderstood, and they put up this very joyful, playful front because they feel like no one will ever understand them, and you know, and they also have very deep sexual addictions, like they're sexual addicts. Anyway.
Nice. That's actually the sign I attract the most, Sagittarius.
Nice.
Yeah, so I can agree, and I think Gems and Sages get along so well because we'll listen to you talk about something that seems outside of this world or whatever, you know. Like I think it's just really a meeting of the minds, and we're also able to teach them as well as learn from them as well. Next, next I would go with Libra. And I'm going to say that this is the thing about Libra. I think that Libra honestly wants to be involved. Like they want to be in a relationship and feel love. But honestly, I think that they hide the fact that they're actually a bit materialistic in their wants for relationships.
Not all of them. Some of them are openly like, if you're not cool or popular enough.
Right. Yeah. It's funny because it's funny because I get a lot of Libras, and you know, of course, Libras will say, you know, tell me about my love life and why don't I attract the right kind of person? And honestly, it's all about your real intent. What do you, like what is your actual intent that you want to bring this person into your life for? And just from what I noticed, I think they're highly superficial. And you know what's crazy? They say we're very compatible with them. Geminis.
Oh, yeah. Very compatible.
Yeah.
It's funny too. I like how you said it because in your face, they'll show you that they'll let you know right off the bat they have depth. They have actual like substance. But then when you see them in public, they don't want the world to know that. They want the world to know they're hip. They want the world to know they're cool. You know, kind of like.
They'll dumb themselves down. Yep.
Yeah. So, okay, we did Libra. Taurus. What Taurus hides about themselves is that they're incredibly cunning and shrewd. You think Scorpio is shrewd. Taurus is incredibly cunning. And they have horrible temper problems too. On the surface, they're very calm, but oh my goodness, like they will throw a desk at your face if they can.
I agree, honestly. All right. I'll go with Aries. I think Aries hides the fact that, you know, they act like, you know, I'm very secure within myself. I'm confident, But I honestly believe that that's hiding insecurity. I think that they're truly insecure inside, and the fact that they try to be so competitive or try to, you know, be center stage is for validation.
Yeah, bravado and ego in a way. I mean, they do deliver sometimes, though. I mean, most times, but yeah, I do feel that too. They hide it. Scorpio. Scorpio reminds me of Itachi and Naruto. Like Scorpio will willingly be the villain, even though they know damn well they're the secret good guy. Like they want to actually have this martyr complex sometimes. Like they since they feel things more complexly, that it's more easy to just be like fuck you than to actually explain how what they're doing that seems like they're hurting you is helping you. So that's, they can feel misunderstood sometimes.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Like, you know, I always say that sign, you're definitely playing for the dark. If you incarnate under Scorpio, you're here to shell out some darkness. So, but then you had, like, you know what you said, that some signs try to hide that that nature, and be the bad guy when they're actually the good guy. I find that Scorpios actually, like, especially if they're pursuing you, they hide their darkness and their villain status and put out I'm carrying, I'm that. And then once they got you, you're got. You know,
Yeah.
the true Scorpio possessiveness comes out.
I was really Maleficent.
Right, the whole time.
Yeah. True that.
That movie's deep. It has mad symbolism in there. Oh, it was my goal. My fault. I'm gonna go with us, Gemini. Gemini. What do we hide? I think we hide the fact that we actually care. I think we're the sign that tries to show, like, I don't care. You breaking up with me? Oh well, I'll move on. I'll move on.
So true,
It is what it is, but deep down, man, we really care, yo. And that shit is crazy.
I'll go out of my
that
way.
Huh?
I'll go out of my way. I'll go out of my way to act like I don't give a damn. Like, I'll have to talk myself out of giving a damn, like, all the time. You hit the nail on the head with that one, dude.
Yeah, man, we really do care. But I would tell you this. I'll tell you this. I do love the fact that I get over things very quickly. And in my experience in astrology, water signs, they can't let go, man. Like,
water and earth.
10 years. Oh, Earth too? Yeah, I really know.
Taurus is the worst. Taurus is the worst.
Yeah, hold on to it. Yeah, you're right. I know with Taurus will definitely not let go of a terrible situation. You know, a Taurus will be in a situation where somebody made them lose their arm, and they'll still go back and be in this situation because they don't want change. They want that consistency.
I agree with you with water. They do, like us, like I could get my heart crushed and I will act like I don't care, but I care. But within a week, you know what I'm saying? I'm over it. You know what I mean? But Cancer, a Scorpio, it's a different story. Aquarius hides behind their knowledge. They are definitely afraid of coming off as uninformative. They don't want people to know that they don't know everything. That's why they act like they know everything. They don't want to come across as incompetent. So they're going to come up with a front of knowledge.
Wow, that's a good one, bro, and I believe it. Not to get sidetracked, but I just want to get your thoughts on this. How do you feel about Aquariuses and friendship?
My best friend is an Aquarius, and he single-handedly taught me the value of friendship. It's so, like, that even makes me believe in astrology more when I started studying, because I'm the kind of person, like I said, I have 12th house Venus, so I'm very isolated. You know, I don't really talk to people. If you don't talk to me, I'm not going to talk to them. I'm a Gemini, like, oh, I talk to everyone. I go out, like, no, I keep to myself. But this is somebody who always keeps a point to hit me up. Even we're talking on Messenger right now, and he lives in the East Coast. I met him when I went to college in Maryland. So Aquariuses and friendship, there are two Aquariuses right now in this town, two Aquarius ladies who keep up with me. They're the only ones who keep tabs on me because they really are about friendship. It's so inspiring. Like, it makes me want to be a friend. And they've changed what the word friend means to me. So I really respect that about them.
Nice. Cool. Now, here's the beauty of astrology. That's all in your experience. From my experience, they don't make good friends. And from what I've seen, these guys, pick friends based on status and, you know, what motives do I have that can you help me achieve? You know, so in my experience with Aquarius is I've just noticed that they're on to the next. Once, like, you'll have a good friend that's an Aquarius for a couple years, but that Aquarius may be just going through a phase. Like, for instance, we're astrologers, so we may have somebody who's hanging around us that's really into astrology, right? Then that Aquarius, when they're done and their fad with astrology has passed, they're on to the next friend. That's what I've noticed.
Do you think it has to do with the house that Aquarius is for you? And you also have Saturn there too. Because you're right. Like, that astrology is dope like that. Like, it gives you a 360 perception of each sign. So
Yep.
you may get one side of a sign, and then someone else gets they attract a totally different type of Aquarius in a way. Like, since Aquarius is my 10th house, I attract the Capricorn type of Aquariuses. But you may have a 6th house one, so you get like the more Virgo one maybe, or yeah.
I would say opportunist. Here's the thing with me, right? And here's another thing for you guys as far as really understanding your life's purpose and how to achieve that. For myself, having the North Node in the 5th house and having the South Node fall in the 11th house, I'm pretty much aware that, and then with my Gemini nature, I'm pretty much aware that in a previous incarnation, I used my ability to be a people person to achieve things, right? So you're listening to what I'm saying about Aquarius, and this is karma coming back, right?
Yeah.
I feel like I use people to achieve things in a previous life, right?
The 11th house influence, right?
Yes, correct. I have the South Node. In there. So I believe, you know, in this one, I would never be able to be a part of a group that blows up. No, I'm here to shine on my own efforts. And so, yeah, hold on. So with what I'm saying about how I feel about Aquarius is, that could be karma coming back to me.
I'm really excited because you just like flipped the switch in my head. It makes sense now why it's so different. My North Node is in Aquarius, so that's probably why I have that affinity. And my South Node is in Leo, so that could be, yeah, that makes sense.
How do you interpret that, bro? What do you take from your North Node placement?
My North Node it's literally the opposite of you. You know how your North Node, you have to focus more on your, you know, individual, you know, a North Node in the 5th house has to be passionate about the work they do. They have to make sure people rally around their projects. It's the opposite for me. Like, with the South Node in Leo, I'm a naturally gifted performer, but I have Mars and Aries too. I'm going to get the flared ego. It's like, it's about me, y'all. Like, you know, I want y'all to, you know, share my stuff. But my North Node's in Aquarius, so it's like, it's not about you. You have to go out to the collective. You have to make a group blow. You have to support the group, and you have to be unique in that aspect and take your talents there. It's in the 4th and 10th house, and to a degree 3rd and 9th house. But yeah, I like how it's like opposite in that way. I think we're forgetting 2 signs though. Did we do Leo and Cancer?
Yeah. We forgot Cancer. Cancer. What does? Honestly, I think Cancer hides the fact that deep down inside, they want to be able to manipulate people emotionally.
Oh, hell yeah. Oh, hell yeah. And it's funny because as Gemini, we're in their 12th house, so we see it. Yep. Like, they're so good. They're so good at that. They act like they're not even doing it.
Yep.
I think that's this innocent face.
Yeah, they're not fooling me, man.
That's interesting. Okay, we'll close with Leo. Leo tries to hide that they're very self-conscious. Oh my goodness. I think they're almost as self-conscious as Libra, but they're very self-conscious, and they have to put on that front of bravado and courage so they don't reveal the fact that they're really shy, you know? Um,
Yeah.
let's talk about Pluto. Oh,
Bro,
all right.
oh yeah, we didn't do Capricorn or
Oh
Pisces.
yeah, we didn't do Capricorn. Oh, we didn't do Pisces either. Okay. Yeah. Which one do you want to do?
So Capricorn, oh my gosh. I think these guys wanna I think, and this is for all cat placements, especially sun and moon, man. Moon more than anything. I
Oh
think
God, that's me right there.
right? I think you guys want to be loved, man. I think you really you want to be able to embrace your emotions, but it's just like some type of resistance. That's like, nah,
Bro,
I can't do
I
this
hate you
without
right
you.
now. I hate you right. Let me tell you what it's like, because I have Sun conjunct Saturn. I'm sorry,
Oh,
I have Moon conjunct Saturn in Capricorn. So
okay.
it's
Okay.
legit how you said. Moon conjunct Moon conjunct Saturn in Cap is like, I want to feel the feelings, and then all of a sudden it's like, stop. It's like, no, it's not happening. And it's like,
Friction.
yeah, it's crazy friction, and we do want to feel love for sure, like, but then we kind of equate it to weakness, and that's our problem.
Yes. And honestly, you're not wrong for that. Because the man who, well, it's hard, bro. It's really, really hard when I say that, because love is powerful, but it does make you weak to a certain standpoint. If that makes
Exactly.
any sense.
They say that
Yeah,
when a man loves a woman, he becomes her weakness, and she becomes his strength. I be feeling that,
yeah,
and it makes me want to run
yeah.
away with that Gemini. It's like, oh,
Right, right.
okay.
You still gotta touch on Venus in the 12th too, man.
Yeah, we do. Oh, we talked for a long time. This might be a longer episode than most of them, man, because we have some important topics to hit. I'll close with Pisces then. I think that's the last one we did.
Yeah,
Pisces likes to hide the fact that they're really intelligent. All right. I think they come across, I mean, they could be really dumb too, but I guarantee you, when you see a dumb Pisces, they're faking it. Like they feel
right.
like they don't want to come across as a nerd. So they would rather dumb down a lot of what they do, like Libra and stuff. But
Word. My my dad is a Pisces, and he's really intelligent and really intuitive, but he's so cocky. Like it's almost like it's I know I'm God. This is the law, and that's it.
yeah,
And
Aquarius and Pisces have that God complex. I think that's another reason why Aquarius can make a bad friend, because they judge so much. Like that's one thing I can't get over. Like, I don't know, it's weird. They think,
yeah, I feel you, bro. I feel you, because honestly, and that's another thing that that's another thing astrology and just spirituality overall has taught me. Don't judge anyone. Everyone is living their own karmic cycle, okay? And they got certain dues to pay, and those dues may be completely different than yours.
and that's
When's your
what's
birthday?
my
The
birthday.
11th.
Yeah, the
The
11th.
11th?
Yeah,
Right. Okay. So you'd be like a karmic number two. You study numerology as well?
yeah, yeah,
Right. So yeah, I feel like the karmic number that's given a huge indication of what cycle you're on. Okay? So I feel like that plays a huge part as far as your life path and things like that.
yeah. Indeed, definitely. And we'll get to numerology too. That was an unexpected topic, but it warrants discussion. Yeah, man, it's kind of hard for any advice. If you're a fixed sign watching this, a Taurus, Aquarius, Scorpio, or Leo, you have to understand the zodiac is like the government that we have here. You have the judicial system, you have the executive branch, which is the cardinal signs, and you have the legislative branch, which are the mutable signs making the laws. So the energy of your sign, if you're a fixed sign, is a judge. But you have to remember you're in a human body. And so that's what could be hard. It's easy for a mutable sign to split consciousness. It's not so easy for a fixed sign to, some of y'all feel entitled to judge. I think it's ironic. We're two Geminis living our stereotype. We just gossiped about all the 12 signs. I think that's pretty funny. But on to the next topic. I really want to talk about Pluto, and it's going to segue into this future World War Zero episode that I have. It's going to be one of my best episodes. It's that dope. But before we get there, Pluto is in Capricorn right now, and it's at a very pivotal period where it's aspecting everyone's Pluto. How do you think this will affect the Pluto Libras, who it's squaring, the Pluto Scorpios, who it's sextiling, and the Pluto Virgos, who it's trining?
So I think that, you know, the Pluto Libras are definitely being affected in the realm of dealing with others. Okay. And I think that the injustice out here, you know, as far as the world is going on, though people in that generation are really seeing that change has to be made, right? Then our generation, I feel like we're gaining the wind, the motivation to start the revolution, like actually put it into action. All right.
True that.
And yeah, you know what I mean? And then the future generation, oh man, I don't know. I think they're just, it's reality. There's no, you could say we grew up in with being misled a little bit, but I think this future generation is growing up right with truth right in front of their face. So they'll be aware of the battle at hand way earlier than we were, and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about Pluto Virgo? They have the trine now. It's been our parents, basically.
You know, I think it's just a matter of putting it all together and realizing what can be made, right? What can be done and how well it can be done. That things may not be perfect. You can't always have it exactly what you want, right? Exactly how you want, but take the necessary steps to provide to get that change there.
I love
Whatever
how
way
you
it may
said,
come.
I love how you said the revolution is kind of starting, because, you know, there's a lot of civil disobedience happening on part of our generation, triggered by the Pluto Libra. The Pluto Libra is like sending us out to do it. You know what I mean? Because if you look at Congress, they're 80% male, 80% white. And now we really have to deal with the prospect of diversifying Congress. Now we have to deal with, you know, children our age and younger turning 18, changing everything with our voting. Yeah. Things are going to be changed once Pluto's in Aquarius, man. And the Pluto Leo generation is dying out. So what do you think about that? Like, this is huge, man. Like, this is changing a lot. Slowly, but still.
Slowly, right. Slowly, but necessary. You know, it's like what do you think you're here for? You know, for me, I've always known that I've been here on duty, right? And with that being, like, with me seeing everything going on, it's more so just like validation of that. With my own personal moves that I'm making, along with everything that's going on around me, I pretty much see I'm validating what I've always thought would happen. And it's this.
I like how you put that. I like how you put that.
Man, I think, you know, bro, I really have a vision, and I see what it is that's going to occur, right? It's just a matter, like you said, it's slow. So that's why I stress to people, respect Saturn, understand Saturn, okay? Work with Saturn. If you make Saturn an enemy, right? If you refuse to abide by those rules, you will never manifest all the things that you want, because it's just parts of the game. That, for instance, magic, right? Magic. People have to understand that magic is not abracadabra, all right? Nothing instantly happens. We're all working magic 24/7, 7 days a week. The cycles, right, within astrology will show us when's a favorable time to do certain kinds of magic and put certain kind of things out there. But all in all, you'll never see anything manifest in one day. If anything, at minimum, it'll take 3 days. It'll take 3 days because things manifest in threes.
If we had more time, we have to wrap this up because I have a webinar in like an hour. But a future episode we need to talk about is the demonification of Saturn, because it's frequently correlated to the devil and Satan, and it's all bullshit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? As far as the correlation is right, but the meaning is so off because of traditional religion. One thing that's interesting is, and this is a future World War Z episode I'll make. If you registered for the webinars, you're getting a sneak peek. I did Aries, Sag, and Leo yesterday. Those were awesome. Today I'm doing the water signs, and it's the Grand Hex Wars. This is the first Grand Karmic Hex Wars, meaning that, and this triggered ever since the North Node went into Virgo and the Sun went into Scorpio. A hex is a curse. It's a magic spell. And because our dark sides are awakening stronger than ever before with the Uranus and Pluto squares done, the seals are awakened, we're having a war right in front of our face right now. So people are manifesting hyper intentions of negative stuff. I can go to someone and be like, oh, I hope you have a shitty day today. And that person will have a shitty day. This is spiritual warfare advanced right now. Nobody knows this is going on. Nobody knows that they're conditioned and being programmed to look at certain people in a certain way. It sounds kind of conspiracy theory, and that's why it warrants a World War Z video. I'll go more in depth, but I know you feel that.
Nah, you're definitely right, man. And like I said, that's another part of me being so close to Mercury. I understand when they say Mercury is a trickster. Mercury is playing both sides of this war.
Thank you. Thank you.
You know, man. You know I know. So yeah, that's some dope stuff, bro. We definitely have to rap again, man.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely, absolutely. It's funny, we had a track called Spiritual Warfare we ripped up. That's what All right. Yeah, man. As far as Pluto Libra, I also wanted to mention, I feel like Talib Kweli is one person who was a Libra in that generation who really embodies that. As far as he'll rap to the youth and he'll tell them it's not about swag, it's not about diamonds, it's about organizing grassroots protests to actually deal with these issues. And you won't see this on the media, they don't cover that, but you know, he's actually like out there inspiring people to do that. I thought I would plug in Mr. Kweli. But yeah, before we close, what are 3 zodiac signs you get along with and 3 zodiac signs you don't?
Cancer for sure. Both I have like both of my 2 best friends are Cancers. Sagittarius for sure. And other than that, I would probably say Scorpio. So the ones I get along with, well, I can say Gemini too. But that's just given, you know, like yeah. Gemini, real recognize the real, you know? So, but outside of that, I'd say Cancer, Scorpio, and Sagittarius. And dislike, I don't dislike much signs, but as far I would go.
Who gives you the most challenge is what I mean. Like who is the hardest to get along with? It's hard for a Gemini to not get along with anyone, but
right. But it would be Virgo. It would be Virgo. Like one theme that I've seen in my life is that Virgo sons usually tend to like me, right? And we'll start getting to know each other, and then I'll just be like, yo, these guys are annoying. They're critical, you know what I mean? Private, and I'm extremely blunt. So I would say for me, Virgo is hard to get along with. Aquarius, it's good, but for me, in my experience, they're just not too much like deep at a friendship level. So I'm always have my guard up against them. And then I would say Pisces, because it's this particular kind of Pisces, like you said, that has the God complex, and they think that their wisdom is the only wisdom and the correct wisdom. So yeah, I'd go with that. Virgo, Aquarius, Pisces.
Interesting. Yeah. One thing
How
with
about you?
Pisces. Okay. Well, I would say one thing about Pisces is they're the only sign that truly understands God, but they forget that, they're not in the spirit realm, they're in the real world. So that's where that God complex come in. The three signs, it honestly changes, man. The three signs that I get along with great now, um, I would have to say Aries for sure. I don't know any Aries I haven't really clicked with well. Might be because my Mars is there. I get along well with Taurus because of Virgo, but I won't put them on the. Sorry, because of the Venus I have, but I won't necessarily put them on that list. I'll put Aries, Sagittarius, and we could throw in Cancer. I have Jupiter in Cancer, so I really love Cancers. The three most challenging signs. It's funny. I love these signs too. Like if I had the choice to like date one of them, like I would choose these because they're challenging. But Virgo is definitely challenging. Libra is definitely challenging to me, and sometimes Scorpio, but definitely Capricorn because they're always going to give me. They're not ever going to give me the benefit of the doubt. I think it's more they challenge me because they know I could do better than I'm doing, and they hate when they see me compromise. But I don't know. Sometimes the same signs I mentioned I like could be the ones that challenge me too. It's kind of weird that way. Yeah, man. Before we close, is there anything you would like to? First of all, how can people reach you? Do you offer any services, any readings? If they need to reach you, how can they do so? And is there any message you'd like to close out with?
All right. You want to touch on some Venus in the 12th, this one or on another one?
Oh yeah. Let's talk about it. It's 212 too. That's interesting. Over here. Yeah, let's talk about it before that.
All right. So yeah, I want to know, like, being with someone, I've found the understanding in Venus in the 12th, and I've learned how to work with it. Many times people who, hit me up for readings and things like that with this position feel like the position is so much of a burden because they can't get love off of their mind. So what is your experience with it, and what do you think?
I've never had a girlfriend. I've never been in a relationship. I know it's all Venus in the 12th, but it's honestly one of the reasons why I'm so psychic. It trines my Neptune and Uranus in the 8th in Cap. So Venus in the 12th, people have to understand the 12th house is the ultimate. This is after the 11th house. The 11th house represents I'm with my friends, I have my goals, I have everything. This is the house of gains. And then the 12th house is the recycle bin before you start at the first. But it's also the spirituality, it's the house of release. So this 12th house Venus, it's almost as if it's like having your cake and eating it too, but then you have to I think it gets better with Saturn returns, but you will have spiritual connections with people that you find you tap into first. And if that person also doesn't have a Venus in the 12th, they may not feel it. And that could be where the fantasy and delusion comes in, because you'll get intuitions about certain people that you're drawn to. And that's what sucks about Venus in the 12th. Love could be such a burden because you're not necessarily you're not necessarily seeking it. It comes to you, and then your curiosity gets involved, and it's just so confusing because there's so much more to that as well. But then it's also the house of undoing. So the very thing you're seeking is blocking your potential, and it sets you up for a most, amazing love you can experience because you have that within you. But that's why you need compassion, because chances are you're going to attract people who need to learn from you unconditional love. And people who need to learn unconditional love are usually people who suck at love, or people who have a different perception and teach you a more realistic perception of love that doesn't necessarily involve all the, fantastical things that you could tap into. Because a Venus in the 12 has so much to do with imagination and bridging it into reality that we can be so focused on finding the love, we don't realize the magic we're already creating in the moment.
Hey, that was on point, bro. I think you hit it right on the head. These are things that I tell people, that the first problem here is that I put it like this, right? If Venus in the 12th is at the end of the cycle, right? At the end of the houses, right? That means that, and the 12th house represents oneness with God, right?
Mm.
So the type of love you're seeking is that of God-like status. When you're being loved, you want to feel, that soul tingling lifetime. I feel like I've known this person forever kind of love, right? So your love is very much so pure. But here's another thing. Going back to Saturn teaches us that we have to be realistic. If we leave it up to Jupiter, we'll be living in that fantasy all day. We'll be like, okay, I'm gonna have this, I'm gonna have a wife, and then we're gonna buy a huge house and we're just gonna travel the world and live it up with no idea of how you're actually gonna make it happen. You just feel like that's what it's gonna be. So I feel like Venus in the 12th, the lesson here is that nobody's perfect, not even God. Nobody's perfect. So the
That is so
lesson here,
profound.
huh?
That is
What'd
so
you say?
profound. No, I said that is so profound because I've accepted that, but I still struggle with believing that
Struggling. I
nobody's
understand.
perfect.
Same here. You know that Selena. I think of it with that Selena Gomez song, "The Heart Wants What It Wants." You know,
Yeah.
that's Venus in the 12th. You can get to the point where you understand, like, okay, nobody's perfect, but I still want what I want. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
the way I tell people to deal with this position is to become a very, very skilled artist. Naturally, you are. There's, I'll see this position and I'll be like, okay, what's your talent? I know you do something artistically, and they'll be like, no, I don't know. Well, I'm like, okay, well, that means you haven't found it yet. You need to cultivate it, because that's more than just relationships and love. Venus represents unstructured creativity, right? And when it's in the 12th house, it's free to try anything, So I feel like this is kind of like a renaissance position. It could represent somebody who paints, who draws, who is a musician and does it all. So the way to deal with not having your mind on love is to find other ways to cultivate the energy and ultimately release it from the 12th house.
Absolutely true. Expression is so important, especially when you think the 12th is a hidden house. I notice a lot of Venus in the 12th houses will hide their talents because they feel so self-conscious. Like, someone could be a great singer, but they'll only keep it to themselves. Another thing with the 12th house is you only bring out the energy at its purest form when you're by yourself and when you're isolated. That's kind of what makes it so, you know what I'm saying? Because when I'm around people, I have a little social anxiety. So I'm not going to rap. Unlike my sister, my younger sister has her Venus in the 11th house of Leo. So she'll sing her lungs out so well. I can't do that without being shy. I'm like, oh, can people hear me? And it's weird. You know what I mean? It's like, wouldn't you want people wouldn't you want to share that? And another thing that people forget about any 12th house planet, this is the house of hidden enemies. Do you know what happens to a lot of people with the Venus in the 12th? You'll have someone who likes you, but then their friends or people around them will be like, no, don't talk to that Venus in the 12th person. Nah, they'll make up lies about you. They'll say all. So that's another block to love that happens. Or normally it's a spiritual block, because you'll attract people that will undo you, and relationships with people that will screw you over. So your spirit guides are like, I think it's better if you just wait instead of rushing it.
Check it out for me. So I got Jupiter there, and Jupiter, he's shielding from all that negative. He's actually he shows it to me. He shows it to me. So before
awesome.
I actually
Jupiter in the 12th house is the shit.
Word.
That's awesome.
If Jupiter wasn't there, say I'm just there with Venus and Mars in the 12th house,
Mhm.
I'd lead myself into danger. Honestly, I really would. Like, I'm wise enough to know what's not good for me, but I still want it.
I feel you because it's like a subtle drawing. It's like your heart is getting tugged into deeper and deeper knowledge and truth. Yeah.
Right. And you want to know another thing? I think we have a terrible problem with idealistic thinking. Like,
Oh
it's
my
something
goodness.
I try to bring myself out of it. And honestly, it's a huge struggle. This struggle is even harder than learning to work with Saturn. Like, I'm not gonna lie, man. And I know I'm not alone. Venus and the 12th people, they experience it too. We have certain infatuations that I don't understand it, but I'm well aware that it's there. And I'm trying to understand.
I'm living this stuff right now, brother. Like, I have the most unrealistic fantasy right now. And because we're Gemini, we'll have that realistic side that's like, snap out of it, get the logic back. And then we'll just discard it. And then we'll go right back like a rubber band, back to the fantasy. And it just goes back and forth from that to that. So frustrating. Oh, that's some technical mishaps. Mr. Brown. Oh gosh, Mercury is direct, y'all. I don't know what to blame this on right now. This is kind of horrible. I thought that would work. Well, let's give it some more time. Oh, okay. He's gonna come back in the room right now. Yes. Word, we are back. He is on his way back to the room. Thank y'all for your patience. Ooh, this so far is the longest episode I've ever done too. Next week we will be having K Pisces, and after that we'll be having a Libra male. He is Thunderbird. So we have a dope lineup. For those of you who have suggestions, please comment below who you want me to reach out to. I will definitely send out requests. I definitely would love to keep this series going. 19 episodes strong, so it's pretty exciting. Yeah, I think I could reach out to Master of Earth. I haven't sent him a request yet. But yeah, we shall see. And Mr. Gemini Brown should be back. Like, I'm trying to do that abracadabra magic thing. Well, while we're waiting for him to come back, he should be back on any second. I know I very briefly talked about this Grand Hex War thing. Um, this is a real war, but I mean, the one thing you should take out of that is it's not a war that you need to fear, like guns and bullets in your face. This is a war, the first one that we have, that's meant to show you the power of your own intention, you know. And on the flip side, even though it's revolving around hexes, it also works with blessings too. Saturn is in Sagittarius, so this is a mutable sign of perception, and it's really meant to strengthen your beliefs and the perceptions of the words you use and the heart you fuel those intentions with. Mr. Gemini Brown, we have you back.
We're back. I don't know what the hell just happened, but
We
I know I
can't
just
blame it on Mercury.
Yeah, we can. But I remember I was just talking about the infatuations Venus in the 12th has.
Where? What would you like to?
Did it catch that? Did it catch what I was saying?
No, it cut off when you were saying that we could be too wrapped up in the ideals of it.
Yeah, right. So yeah, I think that in that position is part of the expectations that Venus in the 12th has. So I noticed that, like, a lot of us will have this infatuations with certain types of people, or a certain personality type, a certain race, things like that. And having the Virgo energy that I do, I try to analyze it and understand it, but that right there is something that I haven't been able to understand. And I compare it to that Selena Gomez song, "The Heart Wants What It Wants."
It may not be good for you, but you still want it. That's for sure.
Yeah.
You know what? The most painful thing about Venus in the 12th that I'm slowly realizing is you have to sacrifice it. You incarnated with a Venus in the 12th because you decided that you love relationships, but you have to put it behind you. You have to express that love in different outlets and allow it to come to you. I think it might be different if it's in a masculine sign. Like, I feel like Venus in Leo has to go out and get love. So I think it could still work for you or any other Venus in the 12th. But I'm just slowly feeling like it's just something, like, it's wrong to say a Venus in the 12th won't ever be in a relationship. I feel like that's not true. But I feel like it's whatever's in your 12th is what you've chosen to, like, release and sacrifice. And it can be painful because it's what you want. But yeah, let's close out, man. How can people reach you, and what's the final message that you have for people?
Well, you guys can reach me at GeminiBrown618@gmail.com. You can add me on Facebook under the same name. I do readings. I do readings. I do tarot readings, and as well as astrology readings. And I could do some other cool shit, but I haven't figured out how to really use those gifts yet. And my final message would be, the revolution's underway, man. Stay tuned. Mike, as I told you, I'm in the film, bro. Film and television. Okay? We're going into the age of Aquarius. Look where astrology is so far, right? So that's part of my message, that astrology isn't going nowhere. It's only gonna increase. So yeah,
the revolution will be televised.
It will be televised. Yes, it literally will, bro. And I see the vision all the time. All the time.
That's what it do, man. All right. Well, I hope you enjoyed this episode of Peace Talk. And until next time, y'all, peace.